Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your big OY Between the Game Sports back. Give you another great video and topic, but y'all know the drill, man. Please hit that thumbs up button for me, subscribe, and then hit that bell button to get those notifications. Man, today's video, crazy news. Everybody's been waiting on this for weeks and weeks, and so it's finally happened. Jackson State Tigers football schedule for 2022 has just dropped, and it's interesting. And I got a couple of theories about this. I think a lot of folks are going to be upset and disappointed, but I'm telling you right now, you shouldn't be, because a couple of things. It's very hard to schedule games. Very hard to schedule games, especially in this late of the game. It is almost spring break in 2022, and you're trying to fill out your schedule. Most teams have already gotten their schedule done. They've gotten it done in years in advance, so it's just very hard to get done. Also, I believe that a lot of SWAC schools are required to play in at least 2 or 3 classics. So that's games right there already not allowed to be played against, FBS schools or some of the more known and stout FCS schools. So it's very hard to get those things all to work in one function. And so I'm telling folks, don't be upset. I can understand why you're upset, because you want Jackson State to try to play some of the best competition out there when you got guys like a Travis Hunter over there. You got guys like Mr. Coleman, the wide receiver, coming through, and all these guys that came to Jackson State through the transfer portal. But again, it is hard to get a schedule done, and I will give another reason towards the end of this video why I think the schedule turned out the way it did. But as you can see, they start with Florida A&M and the Orange Blossom Classic. So, that's a game that's going to be huge. That's probably going to be back on ESPN. And then they also play in the Southern Heritage Classic, and reports were that they weren't going to play in it, and then Tennessee State wasn't happy about it, and all of these things. So they're going to play in that. That will probably be on TV as well. Y'all remember last year, Jackson State played in, they had 8 scheduled games, and I think they ended up playing in at least 9 or 10. So that right there, you expect to see that kind of same capacity on the ESPN family of networks. So those are probably 2 games. And then the game that I'm really excited about seeing is a home game. The third week, September 17th, against Grambling State. Hugh Jackson is coming down there. He has a brand new stuff going on at Grambling State. He's getting guys coming to his program. So that's probably the game I'm most excited to see. And they just got a bunch of stuff going on. Alabama State, they play at Alabama State 2 weeks after that. Then at Bethune-Cookman. Watch out for Bethune-Cookman, because they played very well last year. They just couldn't get over the hump. They first year in the SWAC, they lost a lot of close games. So be careful with that game. That's probably a trap game right there. And then they play the only school that is not a part of a hbcu, is Campbell, which I think is in the Big South Conference. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. They play them. That is the home game. That is actually homecoming weekend for Jackson State. So that's a big weekend for Jackson State, their players and their fans. Then they got games at Texas Southern, Alabama A&M, which is a road game. It's supposed to be a neutral site, I believe. Then they close out with Jackson State. And then the other game that I'm interested in seeing is the Southern game. Y'all remember Eric Dooley, who was the coach over at Prairie View A&M, who Jackson State played in the SWAC championship last year, is now the head coach at Southern. So that's another game that I'm interested in. So there's the schedule right there, folks. Again, don't be upset. I know you want to see, some bigger teams on this schedule. But again, late in the season, scheduling season, you have to play in certain amount of classics. And then my third thought on this that I said I was going to bring up. I believe there are a lot of schools who probably turned down playing Jackson State. They don't want none of this action, in my opinion. I think there are some teams who are scared to put Jackson State on schedule. So that is probably the reason why some of this is happening, but I don't think they want any part of this. Again, Coach Prime came out the other day saying he now has a full, complete offseason with these guys, and they ran through the SWAC last year. So some schools are probably looking like, hey, man, they did this in the SWAC. They played ULM close last year through a COVID season, no full off season. And then they got all these transfers. They get Travis Hunter in there. They get all these transfer portal guys. Believe me when I say this, there are probably some schools like, man, we're not playing those dudes. They got too much going on. Shadur Sanders, all this offensive firepower that's happening. They probably don't want any of that action. As my high school coach used to say, they hidden down there. I don't think none of these dudes want none of that action. So believe me, I think it's really, really there. And they don't want to be the team to lose to a SWAC school or HBCU school and then be a Jackson State school, which everybody's talking about. Again, keep telling folks, everybody's talking about these guys. So those are my reasoning behind this stuff. Don't be upset. I understand why you might be upset, but it is what it is. So y'all check the schedule out. Y'all let me know what you think. What's the most interesting game, intriguing game? And are you happy with this? Are you happy with this schedule? Man, as always, on your best day, be better. Think about it. Between the Game Sports, I'm out. Peace.